After a whole season of very difficult, fast, exciting racing, it all comes down to this. 7 rounds down and 1 to go in the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship by Formula Drivers League. We're at Interlagos, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Paz, for a fantastic finale using the endurance format with a 60-minute race ahead of us. It's been a long and winding road to this championship finale. In the pro class, it is between Sebastian Eskandari and Kieran Potter. In the silver class, it's a 3-way championship fight between Tom McInnes, Anthony Bate, and Miguel Costa Texera. There's plenty of championship scenarios to go through, but for the moment, we'll continue this introduction as we get ourselves ready for the day to come. My name is Reese Gardner here on TrackSpotTV. John Wright alongside me in the commentary box and also producing behind the scenes. Ewan O'Leary not here for the final round of the championship, and well, we wish you all the best, Ewan, wherever you are at the moment. Surely he will be returning to the commentary box shortly when the next season rolls around. But John, this is going to be a fantastic finale at a classic track. This place has had the same layout since 1991, was built in the late 1930s. It has been wowing Brazilian fans for the better part of a century now.
It has indeed, and it's been putting fear into a certain Scotsman for almost half a century now, because this track scares me. Good evening, folks. Yes, indeed, I have been released from Ewan O'Leary's dungeon, allowed out into the wild world of the microphone. So yeah, absolute pleasure to be joining Rhys for the season finale. And as he said, it is an absolute classic track. It's an infield that just sends cold shivers through my spine. It is a wild track, and it's going to be an incredible race. We've seen some insane action so far this series. I've had the privilege of being controlling the cameras in the background. I now get to add a bit of voice to the excitement that I have in the background as well. And yeah, this one, with the championship format, with the championship so close as well, Rhys, this really is going to be an absolute barn burner of a race tonight.
Yeah, speaking of, let's check out those overall championship standings. Kieran Potter with 644 points, and Sebastian Eskandari, the only other real contender for the title, on 571. He's had an absolute rocket run of race results recently. Kieran Potter with that early lead, much like Jenson Button in 2009, able to continue to hold on to that all the way through this championship. Danny Davison could be under pressure for third place from Jackson Rihanna, but Jackson's results have been a bit patchy recently. He recently got some good results at the Nurburgring last round, so that's a nice little boost for him. Only 10 points separating Brodie McConkey and Tom Donoghue. Team Max Boost and Proline Esports are the main contenders for the team's title. In the silver class, Ryan Bell sits in 7th overall. Got 3 pro class drivers in between himself and Tom McInnes, with Miguel Costa Texera a little bit further behind that. Daniel Ackland and Alexei Watson are also involved in the title fight, but for second place, Chris Little, Thomas Searle and Tristan McLaren all have a chance to get second place in the standings for the silver class coming out of this round. All depends on the particular results, and this is where Ewan would bring out his fantastic spreadsheet math, but I don't quite have those skills, so we'll be thinking about this as they go along through the race, depending on what position they're in, John. It's going to be a matter of basically Eskandari needs to win, and I believe, from the information we've been given, Kieran Potter needs to finish 15th or better in this race today in order to take the title.
He does, yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't sound like a big ask given the performances that we've seen from him this season. But just getting to the end of a 1 hour race in an open wheel car around Interlagos is something of a feat in itself. Absolutely anything can happen, and based on what I've seen in qualifying and practice already, there is the potential for things to happen. So yeah, Kieran is going to need to stay absolutely focused here, make sure he gets himself to the end of the race, and if anything, I would say he's probably better just forgetting the whole, or he certainly won't have any idea in his head thinking, oh, I need to finish 15th, or better just basically get to the end of the race, have the best performance possible, and of course with the hour-long race tonight, the strategy is going to be so much more important than we've seen so far, because the drivers aren't quite going to have this safety window of being able to pit in the first couple of laps, Rhys, and still make it to the end. So the strategy tonight in the pit calls are going to need to be absolutely on point for every driver, Potter especially.
Yeah, indeed. With the 60-minute endurance round format, without any VSC interventions, the drivers will have to take 2 pit stops for fuel. The track temperature is pretty toasty at the moment, 32 degrees Celsius in qualifying, but our League Administrator Tom Donoghue has told us that we're expecting the track temperature to be around 40 or so, potentially, in the race a bit later on in the day in sim time. We're in the mid-morning or thereabouts in sim time for qualifying. Super Formula Lights, they take about 6 to 7 seconds to change tyres, and that is a cost of 2 to 3 seconds on not taking tyres. So the question really becomes, do you try to stick it out on the same tyres throughout the whole race and try your best to manage it through the pit cycle, or do you take tyres at the pit stop, take that time and track position loss with the benefit of fresher tyres later on in the race?
Yeah, I would not like to be a team manager now. Yeah, working out the strategies is going to be fun. But as you say, there is, with the 2 stops that the drivers are going to need, do they take I mean, certainly taking tyres on one of the stops, you would think, would help them make sure the car is propelled perfectly to the end. But yeah, with the talent that some of these drivers have got, getting to the end on worn tyres, yeah, might not be as much of an issue as we think. But with the track temperature, as you said, as it is, the tyres are going to take a bit of a pounding out there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly who does what, where and when over the 2 stops. And of course, as you mentioned, that's if there is no safety car. We've seen several safety cars so far this season, and Interlagos, as I mentioned, this course absolutely scares the bejesus out of me. It is one of the most difficult infields I think I've ever driven, and I've got more chance of getting a successful lap around here, around the Nordslife, than I do around here, quite frankly. We'll jump on board with a couple of drivers in qualifying to get a look at it. In fact, we'll jump on the championship leader Potter, but yeah, the course itself is going to keep the drivers absolutely on their toes. Whoa, as we can see, Kieran Potter. Oh, there we go, folks. Did I say infield section from hell? That's exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, the pit strategy, as I say, and yeah, with a safety car, we've seen so many this season. Reese, if you were a betting man, I would have to put some folding money on the fact that we're going to potentially, that we're going to see a safety car tonight.
Yeah, I would imagine the same. It's certainly non-zero odds. So Potter has made his way out of that twisty infield section along the start-finish stretch here. Most of the track has remained pretty much the same layout since it opened in 1938, but the overall layout has been through quite a few changes. Turn 1 here, the center S, you see where the green asphalt goes beyond. That's where the track used to go. That little chute down through the opening chicane was created in 1991 to link up to formerly somewhat disconnected parts of the original racetrack here. From this point, they're actually running in reverse direction to what cars originally ran on the old layout, which was an over 7-kilometer maze. The exit of turn 4 there, Interlagos, Kieran Potter would have gotten an off track at that point. It's very easy to get it at that particular circuit, part of the circuit. It narrows up so much through this section. At some points, you can barely fit 2 cars side by side, but you a bit of these curbs, and your curb usage, I think, is going to be a major determining factor of your success today. It is a fixed setup series, so every driver has to deal with the same issues, but it seems like the car's riding the curbs pretty well today.
Yeah, indeed it does. Yeah, we'll see what that's like with some tyre wear 40 minutes in. But yeah, he is absolutely dialed in. His interaction with the curb, as you say, absolutely on point as he heads up the hill to begin the fastest part of the track, which is again the start-finish straight. We saw him come round here earlier on. His sector times not looking great. Look how close he gets to that pit entrance barrier. It's absolutely wild. Has Potter made any improvement? 125.9. Oh, Ryan Bell, just as we're talking about, Ryan Bell pops himself provisionally on the top spot, and at the moment Sebastian Eskandari, who is not on a quick lap, he's got team traffic ahead of him, gets a little slingshot boost there. He is currently down in 4th position, so at the moment we've got a minute left of qualifying, and Kieran Potter is looking in a very good position. He might only be in 2nd in quali, but most importantly for him, he's got 3 cars between himself and Eskandari. So Eskandari has got some work to do, and Potter just needs to keep the head down. Really ideally for him, Reese, Potter is looking to start on the front row and try and avoid. Oh, Eskandari's just gone triple purple sector. I think the Scottish bloke might have spoken too soon, Reese.
Potentially. And Eskandari really doesn't need to gain much to get on provisional pole. It's 2/10 covering the top 5 at the moment, and Eskandari only needs to gain that much to get onto provisional pole. It's been a very nice lap from him so far. A little bit down in sector 4, but shouldn't be too much of a problem with the triple purple sector he has to his name at the moment. Across the line he'll come with Jackson Rihanna in the slipstream, and that's good enough to put him on the front row and ahead of Potter. And that is right at the end of the session. This being a single race server, drivers will be allowed to complete the hot lap they're on when the session comes to a close right now, but Eskandari is basically done at the moment. Oh, dearie me. The number 6 of Miguel Costa Texera has found his car around there in the opening corners. He will start no higher than 12th as a result. We're just waiting now for those final lap times to come across the board.
Yep, the drivers are in the final throws. We can see a lot of yellows, a lot of yellow sectors down there at the bottom, so no one making huge improvements. Big shout to Tom McInnes though, very much doing silver championship leading things. He's got himself onto the front 2 rows. He's ahead of Edwards, Saragi, Sinise, Jackson Rihanna down in 13th position at the moment, so a Kane Ryder down in 15th. Tom Donahoe himself actually down in 18th position, so not a great qualifying for Tom either, but certainly Tom McInnes in the Silver Championship, he's popped himself in a very, very, very nice time, and Ryan Bell has just taken a purple sector. Oh, he is about to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Is he about to go
see what he can
quicker?
do.
Yeah, and extend that gap maybe.
Yeah, Rihanna just got into 9th place on that last lap there. It's a very good lap indeed. 126.3. Big improvement from Kane Ryder. He's going to round out the top 10 after the lap is complete. And now, just seeing Marcus Knitzer come across the line. And that is going to be everyone done in qualifying. Apart from maybe Tristan McLaren, who might be getting some extra time on the circuit in between the end of qualifying and the start of the race to come. We've had 25 drivers set lap times in qualifying, 27 drivers in the server, but Scott Bartine and Daniel Ackland did not set times in qualifying. Looks like we have the number 18 coming in with the first penalty of the night for impeding. Is the number 18 of Kane Ryder. So unfortunately for him, that's going to be a penalty right away as the grid is ready, and Ryan Bell for Proline Esports is going to be starting on pole position. Got Sebastian Eskandari alongside Kieran Potter, the championship leader coming into this round, starting 3rd alongside Tom McInnes, who put down a fantastic time there to take the silver class pole. Craig Edwards starts in 5th spot alongside Jet Saragi with Giuliano Sinise and Anthony Bate in 7th and 8th. Your top 10 rounded out by Jackson Rihanna and Kane Ryder. Thomas Searle is the next silver class driver, starting alongside Danny Davison, who is teammates with Eskandari at Max Boost. They have a chance to take the team's title today if they play their cards right. Ryan Borg and Miguel Costa Texera on row number 7 with Alex Stevens and Todd Parks on row number 8. Alexei Watson will join Tom Donohue, the league administrator, on row number 9 with Jack Munro and Jackie Chung rounding out your top 20. Then it's Tristan McLaren and Brendan Bonacci with Marcus Konitzka, Mark Heppel and Nathan Verney, the last drivers to set times in qualifying. Scott Bartine and Dan Ackland at the rear of the grid. Bartine didn't set times in practice or qualifying, so up in the air as to whether or not he will take the start here, but Ackland did set a time in practice, so I'd be very surprised if he didn't jump onto the back of the grid. So 30 seconds remaining on the grid timer, and we have the potential for quite the long race here. My timing is telling me a projected 43 laps over the 60 minutes of racing to come, again with 2 pit stops likely required over the course of the racing. But remember, a virtual safety car will throw that spanner in the works and potentially allow drivers to complete the race on only 1 stop. All depends on when the VSC comes out and how drivers respond to it. Revs are are about to rise, and it's time to crown a champion. Will it be Kieran Potter or Sebastian Eskandari in the gold class? We'll have to wait and see as the green flag flies, and we are away for the final round of the Gripline SFL Championship by Everything Simulated. Looks like contact between Rihanna and Senese off the start, and that's already a huge spanner thrown into the works. Ryan Bell holding on to the lead versus Sebastian Eskandari. Kieran Potter giving chase to his championship rival in third. Craig Edwards and Jet Saragi rounding out your top six. It is the top six that remain as they were off the start, but already some close racing starting here. Potter trying on Eskandari into Interlagos, and Craig Edwards trying to defend from Jet Saragi to stay in the top five. But big dramas off that race start. Both Rihanna and Senese have mechanical black flags to their name, John.
Yeah, that is not the start they were looking for to a 60-minute race. 14 and 17 places drop for Rihanna and Senese and mechanical black flags, as you say. So that's a trip into the pits to get some repairs done, some much needed repairs by the look of it. Bell, Eskandari and Potter, though, absolutely flying out the gates, and Potter getting job one done. Survived turn one, that's all he needed to do. Oh, and Tristan McLaren has just crashed as well. Unfortunately, I don't have a replay of what happened to the drivers. In fact, we do have one for Senese. We'll jump on that in a few moments, but we'll see how this plays out at the top. It is still very close right down through the field, as you can imagine, in the opening lap, and Ryan Bell is the driver who has got himself an absolutely phenomenal getaway. But we're going to see some slipstream along the start-finish straight, Ewan. Reese, sorry, and it's going to be an interesting one into turn number three, and they're going absolutely side by side down the hill. What a move that is by Eskandari. Woo!
Well done to Sebastian Eskandari there, and immediately Kieran Potter is on the attack here. I think Ryan Bell is going to potentially give his teammate the position. Either that or he's going to make life difficult for Eskandari into turn four, squeezing him a bit further to the inside. Eskandari, though, holds on to the apex and somehow manages to pull it up for the corner. Oh, bit of a blink, though, for Sebastian Eskandari. This is not ideal for the championship contender, last season's champion. He hasn't returned to the racetrack yet. That could be very difficult to overcome there. Sometimes internet issues get you out of contention, and as the seconds pass, it looks like that might be the case for Eskandari.
Yeah, I think it is. He's completely dropped off the timing tower. I'm going to try and highlight his car. Yeah, nowhere to be seen. Eskandari.
Oh,
yeah, there
no.
we go. We've gone to the backup cam. He is no longer connected to the server. So yeah, the emergency backup cam's kicked in there, Reese, and yeah, Eskandari, he's on his way out the pit lane. What is going on here? He's just come back up to second place.
Oh yeah, he's just come back, and he's ended up losing the lead to Ryan Bell now. He's going to have another go at him, though, on the way into turn one, round the outside, and covers him off. Eskandari, all he can really do is get the lead and stay there. Remember, Kieran Potter only needs to finish in the top 15 to take the Gold Class Championship. So he has a bit of work to do, obviously. Just needs to keep consistent. But three Proline cars now battling with Eskandari, and Craig Edwards separating Eskandari from his next teammate in Max Boost, being Jet Saragi. So already a couple of laps down, and there is a lot of potential for drama there, but it seems Eskandari's internet issues have fortunately managed to alleviate themselves for now. I did go back to check to see what happened to Tristan McLaren, and it looked like it was contact with Ryan Borg coming through one of the hairpins that sent him around. So not an ideal set of circumstances for him, and certainly not for Jackson Rihanna and Giuliano Senese, who still have not advanced forward very much. They've already had to come into the pits. Fast repair has been taken for them and for Tristan McLaren. This is the reason why they had to do it.
Yeah, we'll get a look at this off of the start line. In fact, it's taking a few moments. We should yep, no, it's completely frozen.
Oh dear.
Oh!
Senese went nowhere, and it looked like a couple of the Proline cars behind got involved in that too. Senese's left rear completely hit askew, and Rihanna losing his rear wing as a result of that. So unfortunately, it seems either Senese stalled or his car wasn't in gear. That's something you really got to look out for on a standing start. Unfortunately, Rihanna just couldn't react in time. Have a look at the lead that Eskandari's gotten now. Kieran Potter and Ryan Bell are side by side, and they're joined by Edwards, McInnes and Saragi. This is an incredibly tight battle for second, but for Eskandari, he can skip away as much as he likes. If Kieran Potter stays in the top 15, he will still lose the championship.
Indeed, yeah, as long as he win the championship, sorry, yeah, as long as Potter stays in the top 15, yeah, he'll win the championship. Eskandari, he is absolutely tearing away up at the front of the field, and he is leaving the pack to scrap. Over the scraps that he's leaving behind, Bell, Potter, Edwards, McInnes, Saragi and Kane Ryder right on the back of this group as well. In fact, Danny Davidson not too far behind. The slipstream along the start-finish straight is going to be all important, but Sebastian Eskandari, absolute masterclass at the moment, given his internet issues. He has recovered from that. Now 1.6 seconds ahead already, so he is absolutely piling the lap times in and doing exactly what he needs to do. He needs to win this race to make it as difficult as possible for Kieran Potter. Potter just needs to survive, and I tell you, Potter will be a nervous driver at the moment because he is absolutely surrounded. That six-way group now, thankfully for him, down to just the 3 cars, but those 3 cars around him are definitely looking to take those positions. Craig Edwards absolutely tucked in. He's no stranger to an overtake so far. Tom McInnes in the silvers, he's dropped down 3 places, but he's still got Davidson between himself and Anthony Bate is ahead. Oh, that is a nice little move on the inside line, went full defensive there. Danny Davidson had managed to hold on to that one. Kieran Potter, though, he is sandwiched, stuck in the middle with you, I believe the song is playing in his head at the moment. So he is going to be trying to overtake while trying to defend, while trying his hardest to avoid any type of contact, because as we've seen from Rihanna and Senesi, it only takes one little touch on the side of these cars, your wheels hanging off, your rear spoiler comes off, and suddenly you're in the pits and down at the back of the field, with Rihanna and Senesi losing a combined 33 positions between them so far in the race. Oh, and he's just run a little bit wide there, Potter. Bit of a mistake there from him, Reece. That's uncharacteristic, but the pressure of the race certainly will be telling at the moment.
Yeah, I think the pressure might be getting to Potter a little bit. Craig Edwards has been looking very racy in these early stages. Ryan Bell taking the fastest lap of the race, so that's going to potentially be an extra point coming his way if he can hold on to that. Out of the Senna S for Craig Edwards, this is where the slipstream kicks in through the Curva do Sol at turn 3, and then the run down the backstretch to Interlagos. Get on the brakes right where that access road gets off to the right-hand side of the track, and that's around about where you want to brake to get the best line through this corner. It seems that Edwards struggled a little bit with the exit, though. It can be a little off camber on the exit there, and also here through Ferradura, the rise and the elevation changes of the track really mess with making the car point where you want it. Fortunately, you can gather some of that speed back with the bold profile of some of these hairpins. It's really a fantastic section of racetrack, a lot of challenge required to negotiate, but for the moment, it appears that Kieran Potter is comfortably ahead of Edwards for the time being, until now. The exit of Junsal beckons, and so does the slipstream.
Does, and this is where Edwards will try and reel him in. Potter, we saw how brave he was on the curbs in qualifying, not quite so brave this time, although maybe being overly brave a few corners ago. But look at the slipstream effect here. Edwards absolutely destroys that gap, and he sits back. Yeah, he was maybe a bit too far back there. To finish first, you must first finish, they say, and if he'd have gone for the inside there, it was likely there was going to be contact, so he's done everything he can. But Potter will be acutely aware that he has close quarter company, and yeah, Edwards again. Yeah, I mean, he's almost playing the team game here. Fusion Simracing driver working well with the drivers ahead of him, but Potter will be acutely aware. He makes even the slightest mistake and he is going to lose himself another position. In the grand scheme of things, he's still looking okay, with Kane Ryder 1.6 seconds behind this battle that we've got on screen at the moment. But yeah, you don't want to take too many chances, and he doesn't want to be giving away too many positions, because the further down in the field he gets, the more chance there is to lose positions under potential safety cars.
Yeah, it's going to be in the back of every driver's mind. Craig Edwards is actually a teammate of mine at Fusion Sim Racing, so I certainly know from experience that he's a fast driver, but a very careful one. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do there as McLaren. It looked like that was at the exit of turn 4 there, losing the rear end. Again, quite an easy thing to do. You need to run the brake bias pretty far back at Interlagos just to get the rotation into these tight corners. Edwards, though, once again, seems to be going for a bit of a fuel save strategy at the moment, and I know from experience with him, driving with him in endurance championships, Craig is a master at saving fuel. He actually right foot brakes in every car, and wow. It's frustrating seeing how much fuel he can save. He just always seems to run better fuel numbers than anyone else.
Yeah, well, right foot braking has my absolute utmost respect. I've got 2 rather large feet and I can't brake with either of them, unfortunately, which is why I hide behind the microphone and the cameras. But yeah, certainly Edwards at the moment doing a phenomenal job, and he really is keeping Potter absolutely on edge. This is not what Potter would be hoping for. He'd be hoping to pull an Eskandari at the moment, and just to confirm, Eskandari, there he is there. A second up the road, although Ryan Bell is starting to close that gap down. It was at 1.6 seconds, so maybe Eskandari doing a little cheeky bit of tyre and fuel saving if he can at the moment. As he really runs over those curves, I do not have the fortitude to be driving like that in any race, never mind when there's a potential championship win on the line. But certainly Eskandari and Bell within a second. In fact, let's see what Bell can do in the slipstream, because we can still see Edwards and Potter in the background. Oh, and is this the time that Edwards is going for it? He is indeed. Big sendries.
Very nice move, but Edwards is slightly offline on the way out of turn 2, and he gets the curb on the exit too. So looks like Kieran Potter will very quickly respond to this, pulls out of the slipstream early, drawing alongside down the back stretch, and he will retake 3rd place. Edwards lets him have it. So evidently Edwards is confident on the way into turn 1, but something I noticed, especially when we were riding on board with him, was the exit from that opening section doesn't seem quite as good as what Potter can manage. So I think Edwards is going to settle into the long game from here. Kieran Potter will try his best to catch up to his teammate Ryan Bell, but I think that's going to be difficult because Proline 415 still has the fastest lap of the race, and he is running about 0.3 of a second faster than Eskandari at the moment. It appears now that Eskandari's out in front, he could just be managing the gap, but Ryan Bell has something to push for.
Bell absolutely looking to bring home an overall championship finishing position, so he will be pushing, which he is. That's another 0.2 of a second he's taken out of Eskandari's lead, and he is getting himself right in that slipstream range. So we can see 0.7 of a second, so he's hanging right onto the back of that. And in fact, Potter looks like he's disposed of Edward. But been so close on the previous couple of laps, but now Edwards lagging behind ever so slightly. So that overtake attempt, he got it nailed, but it has cost him, as you can see, a little bit of time there. Still so many close battles going on. In fact, cost to Teixeira, who's got some skin in the game to say the least in the Silver Championship, he's doing a Kieran Potter at the moment. He's got himself involved in a 3-way battle, and he is one pro driver, which is Stevens, behind the current silver podium battles. They're going to go 3 wide into the Lago. No, they're not. They're going to think better. They're going to go 2 wide. He holds that one down the inside line. Proline car ends up off track, and that is Teixeira, who is up another position, so he is getting the job done. Oh, sorry, down a position. It's Jack Monroe. My apologies. Jack Monroe made his way through there, so Teixeira is now separated from the silver podium by 2 cars, and he's separated from 2 cars around him by less than 1/10 of a second. Squeaky bum time through the infield for all 3 concerned here, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like it's becoming a 5-way fight now, with Todd Parks starting to join the fight there. just for a bit of context on the Silver Class Championship, 285 points currently for McInnes and 254 points for Anthony Bate. Our top two in the Silver Class Championship are together on track, just about. So all it's going to take here, basically, if... okay, so let's see where they're at the moment. 8th and 9th. So obviously, McInnes is ahead, so he would win the championship from here. Bate has to make up some 31 points in order to get that done. So essentially he needs to hope that McInnes falls down the order and he stays in the top 10 overall. I'm sure in the final laps we'll be getting the napkins out to do a bit more maths. For the moment, Tom McInnes is in a good position. He's behind Ryder, Davison and Saragi and getting a lot of slipstream off the back of these max boost cars in front of him.
He is indeed, yep, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's hanging in there with the pack. Let me get back to my controls, there we go. And yeah, they're all staying very nice and close. Not great for the front tyre, certainly. There's a lot more effort on them when it comes to the braking with less aerodynamics. Pushing down on the car with it being in the slipstream. We are, wow. Are we really already 16 minutes into this? That is insane. That's a lot of racing that we've done so far. Time flies when the drivers are flying around Interlagos. Oh, and Edwards is going to have a go at Potter again into turn 1, or is he? He is closing that gap just as a switch over. Saragi goes past Davidson, so we'll jump back onto that one. And yes, Saragi did get the move done, and he got it done out with the penultimate corner, so that is a phenomenal exit for him. To get himself back ahead of Davidson. And now Tom McInnes, the silver leader, looking to bring home a silver championship, surrounded by silver and gold drivers. Bate's 2 seconds down, in fact. So McInnes looking very good at the moment, 8th place overall, and he's got a decent gap over the rest of the silver field at the minute.
That he has. Nice comfortable gap over Anthony Bate, and for the moment at least seems to have the Silver Class Championship sewn up, but he doesn't want to get too involved with these drivers ahead. He needs to just latch onto the back of them like a barnacle on the hull of a ship. That's the goal for Tom McInnes. Fortuitously timed cloud passing over the circuit at the moment. It was 40-degree track temperature on the way into the race. It's gone down by 1 degree, so that should hopefully bring the tyres back under control ever so slightly for these drivers as we keep an eye on Brendan Bonacci here. Up 7 places off the start. He is almost the hardest charger in the field. That honour does belong to Jack Munro in 11th, who is up 8 spots. But Bonacci, at the moment, right in the midst of this battle with Costa Texeira and Parks ahead, Chung and Konitska behind. Meanwhile, a change a little bit further up there, Danny Davison getting by Jet Saragi, and Tom McInnes remaining in 8th spot. Jackie Chung coming into pit lane. He's joined a number of drivers who have decided to pit early. Alexei Watson and Daniel Ackland have also come into the pits for their scheduled first stop relatively early compared to everyone else. They might be playing the long game and hoping for a VSC to come out at some point.
Yeah, indeed, we might need someone to go feed the hamsters at Sebastian Escandare's house. He is internet. As we can see there, folks, he is not currently appearing. That's why we've gone to blimp start. So, yeah, when the driver blinks out, we go to blimp to the static cam, and Escandare, at the moment, nowhere to be seen in the server. So, at the moment, he is effectively racing in his own instance, which is absolutely horrifying for the drivers around him, because it means he's going to blink back into existence at any given time. Could literally just appear, and in fact it's still showing he's out. I think he is fully disconnected. We've already got Donahoe and Bartine out, and Escandare looks like he might be joining him. Kieran Potter, he doesn't like this. I can absolutely confirm, as a race driver, he wants to win on track, and if his main rival is having connection issues and unable to finish the race, it will feel like a bit of a shallow win for Potter. He'll take it nonetheless. It's not how these drivers want to win these championships, but certainly it looks like it's currently on a plate for Potter. And if I was Potter at this stage, and I'm not a competitive race driver, so I don't have the same train of thought as him, that is a huge caveat, I would let Craig Edwards past. Now that Eskandari is potentially out of the race, I would let Edwards pass. I would alleviate the pressure that he is applying and just get on with his own race. But Kieran Potter's here to win championships and win races, so there's probably very little chance that that is what he's going to do, but certainly that would be my thought process at the moment, Reese. And yeah, but Potter looking very good for the championship now with Eskandari. I think we can confirm he is out of the race, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've officially got the message in the InSim log that his connection has dropped. So that is Sebastian Eskandari out of the race. And yeah, I can hear it in your tone of voice, John. That has taken the wind out of our sails a little bit for the championship battle. Now, as long as Eskandari doesn't return to the server, Kieran Potter really doesn't even have to finish the races. Oh, here we go. Interesting move from Ryan Bell. He's come into the pit lane. He's going to pit early as well. Danny Davison and Anthony Bater joining him. It looks like these guys are trying to split the race into 3 equal stints here, pitting after 20 minutes time elapsed.
Yeah, going for 3 equal servings of racing as we go for another serving of a Craig Edwards overtake on Kieran Potter into Interlagos. He gets this one. He couldn't make it stick after he got it done on the start-finish straight, so he's adjusted his strategy. He's gone through Interlagos and he's got the job done, although he pulls over and takes a wider line. Yeah, it seemed like Potter was staying wide. And yeah, maybe Potter is thinking, what is it they say, the better side of valour? Honour is the better side. Something
discretion is the better part of valour. Oh, problem for Bell. He's just come out of the pit lane and spun at turn 4.
Yeah, let's grab a replay.
So have a look at this. Turns in and the rear end just goes. Now, I don't think he changed tyres at the stop. But yeah, that's far from ideal. About 67 seconds to change tyres. I think he might have changed tyres, actually. Potentially cold tyres with a bit of extra fuel, ruining the balance of the car in the short term. You got to remember as well, you can tune the brake bias on these cars as Edwards and Potter come in, and their battle will now be for the overall win. Yeah, if you don't readjust your brake bias to deal with the cold tyres, adjust it back forward for some extra stability in the braking zones, you can really get caught out.
Yeah, you absolutely can, and we've just seen that play out. As soon as you come out the pitch, your tyres are going to be slightly colder. Whether you've changed them or not, they are going to cool down through there. Danny Davidson was the first driver to take his pit. You can see him rocketing back up through the standings as the cars come out the pit. It's going to be an absolute drag race, and I think Davidson might have got the undercut here. He's going to be side by side with the cars in the pit lane. Is he about to take second place? Oh no, sorry, Edwards and Potter are already well and truly up the road. It's Kane Ryder in the team that are coming out the pits. Jet Saragi, Ryan Bell, and there we go. 2 3-way battles we have inherited, and that is the teams absolutely driving. Yeah, Team Max Boost, who are going for the team championship. I've got all 3 drivers sitting line astern, and then they're followed by Proline Esports. So it's 3v3 just outside the top 3 in the race, and Edwards and Potter. I'll tell you what, Edwards, quick update as well, Reese. He 4.9 seconds he stopped for, so Edwards did not take fuel, which has given him a 3-second. Did not take tyres, which has given him a 3-second gap over Potter, who did take tyres. Kane Ryder also took tyres, and I believe, from what I'm looking at, Craig Edwards, Ryan Borg, Mark Heppel and Dan Ackland all went through the pit stop without taking tyres. So a couple of drivers on fresh rubber and a couple of drivers deciding to take it out another stint, as we see Team Max Boost in a bit of formation driving here. They're going to need to get their team order sorted out pretty quickly, Reese, as they go absolutely nose to tail, and the team behind doing exactly the same thing, and they've made contact. They've gone full Haas.
Oh no, Ryan Bell! Oh, that's going to. Oh no, I think McInnes was a part of that. McInnes is falling down the order. Oh, that's not ideal for McInnes, the Silver Class Championship leader coming into this round. Now Anthony Bate will take the Silver Class lead in this race, 7th overall. And, well, if I just take a quick look at... Oh, no, that's a huge shame for Tom McInnes. And you know what? That might just do it for Anthony Bate.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. I'm looking at the magic spreadsheet here, and it's not waving a magic wand over McInnes at the minute. He's going to need a magic wand because himself and Cyril will meatball flags, and that is massively damaging. Anthony Bate, Proline team member, involved in that as well, but he has come out unscathed, completely unscathed, and he now finds himself in clear second, first place in silver, 7th place overall, as more battles are going on ahead of him with another Proline Esports driver. It is Ryan Bell. After that incident coming out of the pits, he's steadied the ship and he's making his way past Jet Saragi potentially as we pass the pit entrance into turn number 1, and it is indeed Ryan Bell who's going to swing it around the outside. Is he going to manage to make this one stick down through the S's? No, he is not. That is some good defensive work, but just as I say that, Saragi not quite getting the foot on the loud pedal, and Ryan Bell is going to go around the outside. He's going to have his nose just ahead as they head into the Lago once again. It's all action all the time here at Interlagos, Reese.
Oh, it is. Saragi up the inside at turn 4, and the move is done easy as you like. Ryan Bell just needs to focus on long term here. Remember, he did start on pole position for this, but unfortunately, his own mistakes putting him out of contention for that win. He's going to try his best to move past Saragi here, but he locks up on the way in, goes deep, and it looks like he's made his way past the Max Boost driver. Manages to keep him behind through the left-hander as well. A rollicking battle between these two, but they've got to be careful not to scrub those fronts too much. You need to preserve them as long as you can. I just went back to take a look at the incident for Tom McInnes, and unfortunately, it seems a little bit of inter-team racing gone wrong for Thomas Searle. It was a big dive for Searle at turn 1. He moved past both Ryan Bell and Tom McInnes, but he ran a bit deep and ultimately drove beyond the curb at turn 2, which sent him into a spin, and McInnes had nowhere to go. That's a real shame for Tom, because otherwise he would have been in a prime position to take the Silver Class Championship. Now he's got so much more work to do.
He's really given himself an uphill battle here after that contact he was involved in. In fact, let's jump down into this battle here with Kunitska chasing down Stevens, although Saragi on Bell is still very close. But yes, certainly for McInnes, it's an absolute night. Oh, Sebastian Escandari is back in the server and he's just crashed.
Oh dear. So this is... Oh, hang on a minute. Doing some weaving? Not entirely certain what the deal is here. Maybe some hardware issues now befalling Sebastian Escandari as he stopped on the circuit on the way into the hairpin. He's managed to get rolling again, but he's going very slowly indeed. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there for Escandari, but for the moment, keep our eyes peeled on the pace syndicate number 95 of Alex Stevens, who's made up 6 spots to find his way into the top 10. Marcus Kunitska making up even more besides. 13 places gained throughout the race for Marcus. It's been a solid drive for him as we are rapidly reaching half an hour to go for the FDL SFL season.
Indeed, yeah, that's already 30 minutes of racing that we've been through. It's absolutely incredible how quickly these races seem to fly by with the amount of action that we're treated to on screen. As you say, Kunitska here up 13 places, a hard charger. Dan Acklin making up 12, and in fact I think Acklin is about to make up another spot, and it's going to be at the expense of Miguel Costa Teixeira. Teixeira looking to take a silver championship here. He's about to take the outside line and lose himself a position. No, he's not, sorry, he fended him off there. Acklin not able to get the move done, and Senesi, who we saw stall on the start-finish line, he's potentially going to take himself 2 positions here as he sails around the outside of Costa Teixeira. It looked like Teixeira actually moved out of his way there. Teixeira realising he's not in an overall battle with the gold class driver and looking to potentially take some cheeky little slipstream and follow him past his actual target, which is of course Acklin. as he bounces on that curve. Senesi going full-blooded there, trying to get past Teixeira. Sorry, it's Ackland is following. So it's Ackland that he got past. My apologies, looking at the liveries the wrong way round. Yeah, Ackland looking to follow Senesi past Costa Teixeira, who's himself had a difficult start to the race, down that one spot. And it's all still absolutely going off 30 minutes in. Every car has taken their initial pit stop. 4 cars did not take tyres. We'll see if they do on their next pit stop, or we'll see a safety car and no one else comes back into the pits, and that must be a big... Oh, I'll tell you what, never mind the fears here. They're going side by side along the start-finish straight race, and this one could be a very nice overtake again for Senesi.
Yeah, clawing his way back up the order, much like Jackson Rihanna. Almost gets rear-ended in the first turn as around goes Miguel Costa Teixeira. Problem out of turn 1, and he's right on the racing line. You've got to be careful to make your way around him there. But this is a really difficult position for Teixeira to be in. Fortunately, it seems a lot of drivers have managed to make their way past him without any further issues, though a couple of them did have to go off circuit to avoid. Now, the Proline car finds itself in 23rd as things are really starting to ramp up here between Alexi Watson and Alex Stevens. A little bit deep on the exit there for Watson, but it does give him the inside for the next corner. Now up to Bico de Pato, the slowest corner on the circuit, and a big dive opportunity. Alex Stevens is really pushing hard to get past here.
He really is. Yep, the battles are absolutely lighting up as we reach the halfway mark of the season finale. It's Watson v Stevens v Kunitska, and Chung is in there as well. And I tell you what, Watson needs to sort out that line on those curves. He is going far too wide on there. He's going to lose himself momentum, and I think he's about to lose a position at turn number 1, because Alex Stevens is going to come absolutely flying at him here, and he's going to have Kunitska to back him up. We could potentially see a 3 wide into turn number 1. We're definitely going to see an absolutely phenomenal side-by-side here. Is he going to be able to hang it around the outside? He's certainly going to give it a go. He's going to have the inside line at the bottom, and Alex Stevens with a very nice move, but he could be followed through, as I say, by Kunitska as well. Nope, Kunitska's run himself a bit wide, and we've now brought Jackie Chung right into this one as well. It's a 4-way battle, and we absolutely love to see it here.
Oh, contact! Marcus Kunitska and Alexei Watson together, and they will both find themselves in the tarmac runoff there at the exit of turn 4. It just looked to me like Kunitska turning in there at the same time as the Synergy driver was moving back towards the racing line. An unfortunate incident between those two, and that is potential top 10 position for the both of them that has come to naught. They are continuing their fight though. Watson around the outside of Kunitska at the right-hander after Ferradura, and Kunitska's trying his best to hold on here off the racing line for a moment there. They found themselves down in 15th place with Ryan Borg and Jack Munro behind them, 2 drivers who were certainly looking to find their way up the field a bit earlier on. Tristan McLaren's down there as well, who has the oldest tyres in this pack. He had to come into the pits very early for damage on the first couple of laps, but maybe this is the opportunity he needs to make up a couple more places.
Indeed, yeah, not the best start from McLaren. He's had a couple of incidents, but he's still managed to gain 2 places. Oh, as we've got Rihanna and Senesi coming into the pits. Look at the pace that McLaren's got on the switch, and he goes to the extreme inside line, and he's going to absolutely nail this one on the brakes. No defence at all from this move, although as I say that, what a defensive manoeuvre that is to manage to hold on to the position. Tristan McLaren absolutely in the thick of things here. Oh, and he's got a bit close. Alexi Watson almost makes contact with the back of him. Jack Munro felt a little tickle on the tailpipe there. They both do survive, but it's going to be Alexi Watson that is going to sail this one. No, he's not going to sail it up the inside. He's managed to hold on to it, but Alexi Watson will certainly be looking to overtake Jack Munro very quickly indeed. Tristan McLaren, who steadied the ship after that minor contact, he's right back in the hunt for this one as well. Oh, this is on an absolute knife edge here, and I tell you what, Mark Heppel is rubbing his hands together because they've made contact, Reese.
Oh, they have. Unfortunate there for Alexei Watson. He was trying to defend from Tristan McLaren there, but McLaren jumping on the brakes, and when you're hard on the brakes, they're actually locked up. There would have been no response from the front tyres there. McLaren, for his credit, stops to allow Watson to continue on and redress the position. Right in time for Jackson Riana to arrive on the scene, who has completed his pit stops required in this race. He and Senese now find themselves back in 20th and 24th. Seems like Senese got out of that a little bit worse than Riana did, but an abnormally long stop from Jackson Riana, 10 seconds. That tells me that he might have had to get a couple of repairs done in the midst of all of that. Now he finds himself all alone on track as Watson, Searle, McLaren and Teixeira all make their way into the lane.
You do indeed. Yep, more pit stops happening. Oh, and that's a black flag for one of the drivers.
Oh, yeah,
Alexei Watson.
Oh, he sped on the way into pit lane, I reckon. Very easy to do at Interlagos. You're braking for the pit limit from very high speeds. And if you don't practice your pit entry and get it nailed, then you will have a very tough time. Watson, as a result of that, is going to be held in his pit box for a long time. Tristan McLaren, meanwhile, has just spun on pit exit. He was trying to negotiate the pit exit lane, but he has unfortunately found the barriers, and it looks like the rear end of the car is only half attached at the moment. This might be the end of it for Tristan.
Yeah, it's been a tough race for Tristan so far, and it's not getting any easier. Stuck in the pit lane, that is not an easy place. That is a full Austin Powers 37-point turn required to get the car out of there, so that is going to take him some time. But there is more action going on, just as I was about to have one train of thought. We've got a train of two cars here, Kane Ryder and Ryan Bell. Of course, Bell taking pole position in qualifying. Took a tumble down the order. He's about to take a trip around the outside of Interlagos. Is he going to make this one stick? Really mounting those curves as they go side by side up the hill. For the moment, it is Kane Ryder that hangs on to the position, but Bell's surely looking the stronger of the two, as we've also got Siragi very close in the background as well.
Oh, but Kane Ryder is not letting Ryan Bell get away with this. He had a little look up the inside there as Siragi is actually, it seems, working his way around a teammate there. I believe that's Eskandari, actually, who's back there with them. He is a few laps down now, thanks to his connection drop, but he'll do his best to help his teammates out where required.
Yeah, absolutely, playing the team game. Quick update on another one of the Silver Championship protagonists, and unfortunately, it's not a good update, and we'll jump back to that battle in a moment, but Miguel Costa Teixeira losing it on the way up the hill.
Snap.
That was a big snap, and that is a lot of rubber left on the track and a fair few flat spots he's going to have to contend with now. So Teixeira, I tell you what, these season finales, they are absolutely never written. There is no fate when it comes to this. You make your own fate, I believe they said in Terminator, something along those lines, and certainly the Terminator could have been out today at the side of the track, taking out a couple of the drivers, because we've seen some interesting contacts. The drivers really going for it in the season finale, trying to bring home as many championship points and as high a championship finishing position as possible. Because there is a lot on the line, of course, as well, Reese, with the entry to the other competition that the drivers will be battling for. So there is a lot on the line. It doesn't matter whether you're leading the race, leading your split. You need to be, I believe, top 10 or so to get yourself in. So, they're absolutely putting it all on the line. Maybe a bit too much on the line from what we've seen from some of them. But, when you've got to go, you've got to go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the event you're talking about is the Australian Open Wheel Nationals. All the main open wheel leagues in Australia get together for a big race after the end of every season, and the top 13 in the standings are granted automatic entry. And worth pointing out, it seems Anthony Bate was in 13th, just above the cutoff coming into this round, with Craig Edwards in the lead of this race. He was 14th, only round about 17 points back from Anthony Bate. Considering the problems that Bate has suffered in this race, Edwards might get himself a drive in the Nationals.
That would be absolutely incredible, and he'd be well worthy of it as well, because the battle that he's had with Porter so far has been absolutely incredible. And Porter is our champion-elect at the moment. He's got 22 minutes to hang on and finish the race. He's in second, but certainly Edwards with the race win. He's doing everything he can to get himself into those nationals, and I tell you what, it's going to be close. Or it might not be close, as you say, with the driver one position ahead of him, now several places behind him, and going to be scoring a lot less points. So it's going to be absolutely turned on its head. Very much a final NASCAR. We'll see him maybe potentially see a bit of wall riding out of the last corner. And we've seen a lot of grass cutting there, Reese. The drivers' season finale, they are pushing for these championship points, and all it's doing is playing into the drivers behind. And Anthony Bate has just been handed a huge lifeline to try and hold on to that 13th position. And in fact, did someone come into the pits there? I've lost the car.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's come into pit lane on this lap, but for the moment, Craig Edwards in the lead and Anthony Bate in 7th spot. That would be 100 points for the win versus 55 points for 7th place. Edwards needed 17 points to get into the top 13 for the Australian Open Wheel Nationals, and it's going to be a 45-point swing for him if he manages to hold on for this race win. Big points available in the final round of the season. There is a car that's just come into pit lane for a second stop. Ryan Borg in the number 51, and 7.2 second stop for him. That should get him very nicely to the end, but we're still waiting on the final pit stop from our top 14 plus Mark Heppel and Nathan Verney. 19 minutes remaining in the race, and we're right in the window for that second stop. We'll see what Edwards can do from here to play this strategy. Does he come into the pits this time? No, he's going to try and run long here in the second stint, it seems.
Yep, and he's doing phenomenally well as well, because remember, Edwards didn't take tyres in his first pit stop. He simply took on fuel. 4.9 seconds was his first pit stop, stationary, compared to Kieran Porter's 6.4. So we could well see a swap round in the strategies here, but I'd imagine Porter comes in, doesn't change tyres, Edwards comes in, does change tyres. We have got an immense battle for the lead, but Edwards, he will be spurred on by the fact that Ackland is so many places behind him, and this spot in the Nationals is up for grabs as Jet Saragi.
Oh my God! Round goes the 36 of Jet Saragi. He was right with Ryan Bell and Kane Ryder and Sebastian Eskandari there. Looks like a case of bump drafting gone wrong for Team Max Boost. That looked like Eskandari hit him in the rear.
It did, yeah. No, you've absolutely got that one on there. That was absolutely bang on there, Reese. That was team bump drafting gone tragically wrong. Certainly for Saragi, that puts him down the order, and he's picked up a slowdown penalty for his troubles as well. So not only did he do some grass cutting, he got himself an extra view of the side of the track, he got himself a slowdown for his troubles as well. And yeah, that's another team gone full Haas as we see Craig Edwards come in to take his pit stop. Does Kieran Porter follow? No, he doesn't. On the fresher tyres, Porter is going for a longer second stint. He is going to try and use the rubber that he's got on track. It's got very dark out on track.
Yeah, that's a cloud that's cloudy. Yeah, little bit more cloud coming over the circuit. So Edwards with a 6.7 second stop, so he has taken fresh rubber. This gives a chance for Kieran Porter to potentially overcut Edwards with hotter rubber on his car. Edwards will have to get his tyres up to temperature, and that may cost him some time. But yeah, real shame to see that incident between the Max Boost cars. I believe in NASCAR Super Speedway racing, the golden rule is don't push the pusher, because it does result in some interesting incidents when you have 3 or more cars bump drafting each other side by side between Danny Davison. No, that's not Davison and Bell. That's Munro and McInnes, who are fighting for 13th and 14th as things stand. McInnes has already taken his second pit stop, and he gets a bit squeezed by Munro on the way into turn 4, but Munro runs wide on the exit of the corner, and that will give the chance for McInnes to move back up into 13th place. He's still not close enough to Anthony Bate to have any chance of keeping the Silver Class Championship title from here, and certainly will lose that 13th place in the championship to Craig Edwards. He'll end up losing 11th place, I believe, to potentially Jack Munro if he doesn't play his cards right. Oh man, we have got a lot of championship maths to think about in these final 16 minutes of the race. Battles going on around the circuit here include this, and also Ryan Bell, who's chasing down Danny Davison for second place on the road right now. Should be effective third once Potter and Edwards are done with their pit cycles there. Edwards coming out of the pits, just a lap done now, and we'll wait and see what his pace is like on that new rubber.
The all-important fresh rubber, as you say, a lot of championship maths. I do have all fingers, toes, abacus and calculator ready for doing the maths at the end. It's going to be wild to try and figure out who is going to finish where. We've seen a few drivers already taking 2 pit stops. Of course, the lead protagonist on that is, of course, Craig Edwards, who was our on-track leader when he came in. He has had 2 pit stops so far. Next to him down the order is Tom McInnes, who's had 2, and we've just seen a Mark Heppel incident here. I think he's all on his own, and he just over-rotates on the exit curve and touches the grass.
Catches the grass.
Yeah.
Ooh, almost got the car beached there on the edge of the racetrack. You've got to be careful with those cambered corners. The grass falls away from the track in many places around here, and these being open wheelers have very low ride height indeed. My timing is telling me 11 laps to go in the race, as we'll keep an eye on Ryan Bell as he keeps trying to chase down Danny Davison.
He's just set the fastest lap.
Oh yeah, he has too. Ryan Bell, with the light fuel now, 17 laps complete on this stint. He is looking good to regain a few spots here. Todd Parks becomes the next driver to enter the pits for his second stop, and he should be good to the end, because he might have taken new tyres as well, as Bell gets up the inside of Davison. Fantastic manoeuvre there. Davison didn't really have a response to that.
No, Davidson thought to himself, yep, here is my entry line, let me just, oh, there goes a car. And that was a phenomenal move by Bell. Absolute full commitment on the brakes with those tyres that I've done. Yeah, so he took tyres 20 minutes, so his tyres 26 minutes in. He's setting fastest laps, and he has taken some absolute scalps with these overtakes here. The pole sitter looking to get himself back up to as close to the top of the field as possible. He's got 8 seconds to make up to Potter, and of course he does have a second pit stop to take. I thought he was about to take it there, but no, he is staying out. But Bell, showing once again why he is good for that pole position. As Eskandari down in 24th position comes in to take his second pit stop. So unfortunate for Eskandari for his championship charge to be ended this way. I mean, it would have all been for naught, because at the moment certainly it would seem so, because Kieran Potter, for me, Reese, he's run an absolutely flawless race. He has been, as we saw, those battles with Edwards at the start, they could so easily go wrong, as we've seen so many times around this track and in this race. But Potter he kept his head level, kept the head down, got himself involved when he needed to, kept out of it when he didn't need to, and he's currently our on-track leader, and looking good for second place, which will bring him home the championship after a very strong season. I'd imagine he and the Proline team will be very happy with the drive that he's put in with only 13 minutes left to go.
Yeah, for sure. Proline may end up losing the team's championship to Max Boost, considering where all their cars are respectively. But all the same, to get the driver's title would be excellent for Proline. We've had a different champion in every season of the FDL Super Formula Lights Championship over the course of its history, and we are set to add another name to that in Kieran Potter. But who will take the race win here in the final round? That is the question, because yes, Craig Edwards had about a 3-second lead or so on Kieran Potter when he came into the pit lane, but Potter has been running consistently 0.2 of a second faster than Edwards or more every lap since Edwards came in. Edwards obviously needed to get his tyres up to temperature, and considering that Kieran Potter likely won't be taking tyres at his second stop, having done it at the first stop, he's going to gain even more track position. So honestly, with 11 minutes to go, I'd say the lead is still on.
Yep, absolutely. With the laps that he's putting in as well, even on the slightly older rubber that he's got on track now, yeah, he is looking very good for the race win. I mean, it's what champions do. They come out, they're quick, they're consistent, and they get the strategy absolutely spot on. It's going to be a tough one for the team to take if they don't bring home the championship, but certainly bringing home the Drivers' Championship in such a closely contested league. I mean, it is no mean feat to win a race around here, never mind in this group, never mind win yourself a championship when you look at the talent that we've got out on track and how difficult these cars can be. These are my absolute all-time favourite cars to drive, nowhere near as talented as these drivers out here, but yeah, bringing home a race win and a championship win will be a very nice icing on the cake for Potter. Of course, Proline would have liked to have got the championship. They still might. We've still got 10 minutes of racing here at Interlagos. You've absolutely no way of predicting what's going to go on as Danny Davidson comes in to take his second pit stop. Kieran Potter is still out on track, so he is properly extending this second stint. So he may have taken the fresh rubber at his first pit stop when Edwards didn't, but it certainly looks like at the moment Potter has got his strategy absolutely on point, and we'll see when and if in fact he does come in to take his second pit stop. If he is on a monster fuel saving exercise here, he might just sneak it all the way to the end.
Yeah, there is potential for that. Potter did set his personal best in the race on the previous lap. Next car to come into the lane is Nathan Verney down the order, as looks like we're going to see something happening here for Todd Parks. Some unfortunate contact there with Bonacci, and it looks like we might be seeing race control make a note of that. The last incident that got a penalty was actually Tristan McLaren for loss of control, potentially further problems for him after coming out of pit lane. Meanwhile, Ryan Bell and well, no one else actually. I thought for a second Kane Ryder was coming into the pits behind him, but that's not the case. Bell comes into the pit lane with 20 laps complete. Kieran Potter, meanwhile, has dropped from the server. He's dropped from the track at least. Maybe Kieran Potter is suffering the same issues that Sebastian Eskandari did.
Oh wow, yes, I can confirm we've got the blimp cam, so that means Kieran Potter is not in the server and he is tumbling down the order. It does say he's on his way out the pits, but as you can clearly see, Potter is nowhere to be seen as the rest of the cars make their way around. Let us get back to an actual car on track as Potter tumbles down the order, and now Eskandari managed to make it back in after about 12 minutes. We've got less than 12 minutes of the race to go. Potter should be able to reconnect, but this really does. We might need 2 abacus, please. Can I just, the stewards, can we get 2 abacus to try and work this out, please? Yep, I don't have enough fingers and toes to work this one out. Potter, he is dropped outside 15th position. He's only saving grace as Eskandari is
he's out. Potter has dropped officially. It says so in the server log. So he'll obviously be trying his best to reconnect as quickly as he can, but the race leader, that's twice in this race that the leader has suffered a disconnect. It shouldn't affect the ultimate standing between Potter and Eskandari, as there was how many points is that? 644 for Potter versus 571 for Eskandari coming into the round. Of course, Eskandari with a solid qualifying as well, but neither of them getting the point for pole position. That fell to Ryan Bell. Yeah, I think even if Potter ends up retiring from this one, Sebastian Eskandari is too far down to make up that points gap, so we could still call Potter champion from here as the final car, or one of the final cars to come in for the second stop, Jack Munro and Marcus Konitska making their last stops here. So that just leaves Craig Edwards all alone out in front at the moment. 6.5 seconds back to Jet Saragi.
Yeah, and we've just a bit of touch, a bit of contact on the straightaway there. Sinesi letting Rihanna know that he is going to squeeze him onto the inside. The two drivers that made contact on the start-finish line when Sinesi, I don't know whether he dumped the clutch, he stalled, he didn't have it in gear. Something went painfully wrong, and that pain was spread through to Jackson Rihanna, who gets the overtake done there. But these two right on top of one another as they were at the start of the race, and Rihanna does make a very nice move there indeed. Sinesi is going to try and hang on here. He's in a good position to come onto the start-finish straight and get himself some slipstream as Edwards exits the pits. Ryan Bell and Danny Davidson Davidson on his way out as well, and Jet Saragi pulling into the pits. We've actually seen Thomas Serrell into the pits 3 times, so too Tristan McLaren, but that is now everyone else made 2 pit stops. Well, apart from Kieran Potter, of course, who is disconnected just before. Yeah, it was such a wild way to end the race for him. But yeah, it's still all going on with drivers in and out the pits. That is Tom McInnes, our silver leader. He was the silver class leader coming into the pits. That's him making his way out, and he looks like he's going to drop outside the top 10. And Anthony Bate is looking very, very, very good for the silver class win, and a very good haul of points as well, up in 5th position, Reese.
Yeah, Anthony Bate is doing everything right at the moment with a top 5 finish, and McInnes in 11th now on his way out of pit lane. Could be 12th or 13th because he's come out right with Jack Munro and Brendan Bonacci. Morgan Ackland potentially battling with them as well. They're just catching up now. There's really not much more that McInnes can do other than hope that Anthony Bate has an issue and ends up retiring. That's the only way I think he can actually take the Silver Class title from here. The lead for Craig Edwards now out to 7 seconds, and there's not much else that needs to be done for him. It's all about these battles in the midfield. Jack Munro and Brendan Bonacci trying to hold back Ryan Borg. And worth pointing out, we saw Jackson Rihanna before making the move on Sinesi. They're going to trade places again, but Jackson has managed to make it back up to his qualifying position. That is a stellar recovery from Jackson.
Absolutely top work from Jackson. As you say, he took contact before he'd even crossed the start line with well, actually, yeah, he rear-ended the car in front because the car in front didn't move, and Rihanna goes for the counter move. So through turn 1 and 2 they swap positions, through turn 4 they're going to swap positions again, and I think through 5 and 6 they might swap again because Rihanna didn't look very comfortable on those curves. Here comes Sinesi. Sinesi forced his way to the inside line, not quite close enough though, and Rihanna is holding on to it, and Rihanna now in a net gain position. He started in 9th, he very quickly dropped down to 26th, and he's made his way back up to 8th place. That is full commitment to the cause from Rihanna, and quite the drive. I've seen him driving quite a few series, and he is very consistent and very quick when he gets a head of steam up, and it looks like he's got that head of steam building at the moment. And we've only got 2 minutes of this race to go. Do you think if we speak nicely to the stewards, Reese, we can get this race extended by 10 minutes? Because this is phenomenal stuff right down to the end.
Yeah, probably enough to warrant an extra pit stop, which might shake things up a little more. But for the moment, we'll keep our eyes on Ryan Borg, who is another driver who's managed to find his way back to his starting position of 13th. Got Jack Munro now alongside as he's going to try round the outside of turn 1, a move that is quite possible at this circuit. You may not have the apex, but you do have the inside line for turn 2, and that's the move complete for Ryan Borg, now up into 12th spot, and looking really good at the moment. 12 laps done on that stint so far. His tyres well and truly up to temp, and his fuel load is nice and light too. Behind, Daniel Ackland has to make way for Brendan Bonacci on the inside of turn 4. And away they go on the way up the hill to Ferradura once more. We're on the verge of getting the white flag here. Craig Edwards is coming across the line now to take that last lap call. And, well, he's kept the lead incredibly consistent as the racing goes on between Bonacci and Ackland through the hairpin section. Bit of a wide exit there for Bonacci, but it seems like Ackland doesn't have much of a response to that.
Yeah, Bonacci getting that one absolutely signed, sealed and delivered. Certainly nothing signed, sealed and delivered between Sinesi and Rihanna. These two still absolutely going at it. They're going to come across the start-finish line as we are seeing. Yeah, so the white flag has been waved for some of the drivers. Sinesi managing to hold on to the position into turn number 1. We'll see what he can do out of the Sen S if he can. Hold on to this one, which he does. Let me just check where Edwards is. I do not want to miss him taking the checkered flag. There's 30 seconds left of the lap, and he's got 6 corners left to go. So this is going to be a close one. I'm not sure if he's going to get the checkered flag or the white flag here.
I think he will. The white flag's already flown. This is the last lap.
So yeah, Edwards with a good win.
Yeah, indeed. He drove nice and smoothly, was able to avoid drama, was gifted a couple of positions thanks to internet issues for Sebastian Eskandari and Kieran Potter, but the final honours of Season 8 of the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship presented by Everything Simulated go to Fusion Sim Racing's Craig Edwards. That's 100 points on the board for him, and that should be enough to get him into the top 13 in the championship and an automatic entry into the Australian Open Wheel Nationals. Ryan Bell and Danny Davison cross the line to round out your podium, and well, it looks like both Proline and Max Boost will have some success there. Anthony Bate crosses the line in 5th place, and with Tom McInnes down in 11th spot, I think that's going to be enough for Anthony Bate to get the Silver Class Championship.
And Rihanna got him on the line. Let's just have a look at this. We're going to have a quick replay right at the end here, because right at the end, the battle between these two was decided by absolute millimetres. The slipstream working for Rihanna as the cars ahead weave, and Rihanna did manage to get past Sinesi right at the death there, and he has been given that position. They look to me to be absolutely side by side there, but Rihanna managing to sneak a position, and that puts him, gives him a net gain of 1 spot. That is an impressive drive. Given what we've seen at the start, and Costa Teixeira won't be impressed with his drive. It's been a tough race for Teixeira, who was in the hunt for the Silver Championship. He's now in the hunt to be overtaken by Verney right at the last lap. Teixeira does manage to hold on to that final position. But yeah, Silver Class win for Anthony Bate and the Gold Class win for Edwards. An absolutely incredible race to round out the season. Unfortunate with those disconnects, massively unfortunate. You could hear it in the commentator in our voices. Very, very gutted to see those drivers exiting the way they did, but that is the race over, and Edwards and Bate with those class wins. What a finale that was.
Yeah, quite the exciting race. Interlagos always throws up some excitement, and this race was no exception. Edwards, Bell and Davison are your podium, with Ryder in 4th and Bate rounding out your top 5. Newly crowned Silver Class champion there. Jet Saragi in 6th place, with Alex Stevens in 7th. Jackson Rihanna, as we said, issues off the start there with Giuliano Sinesi. Both of them managed to make their way back into the top 10, though. Impressive recoveries from the both of them, just 12 thousandths of a second between those two drivers. Jackie Chung rounding out the top 10, a consistent drive from 20th place. Tom McInnes, it's going to be very disappointing for the number 93. Contact with his spinning teammate of Thomas Searle through turn 2 ends up putting him back to 11th spot, having to take 3 stops, one of them for damage and losing the silver class title at the final round. He does finish ahead of Ryan Borg, though. And Jack Munro in lucky 13th. Ackland gains 14 spots. That looks to be the most positions gained of anyone in this field. Brendan Bonacci finishing just behind him. It was a rollicking battle between those two. Todd Parks finishes where he started in 16th place, and then Thomas Searle down 6 spots. Marcus Kanitska up 5. Top 20 rounded out by Miguel Costa Teixeira and Nathan Verney, with Mark Heppel being the last car to finish on the lead lap. Alexei Watson coming home in 22nd place. Sebastian Eskandari and Kieran Potter both suffering internet issues, disconnecting from the server. And basically getting not many points worth talking about for either of them. But Kieran Potter, with the advantage he had coming into this round, should take the Gold Class Championship from there. Tristan McLaren, the last driver in the server, and he spent a long time in the pits in this race. Unfortunate for him. Tom Donoghue and Scott Bartine did not take to the start. So that is your results from the final round of the season. We are going to bring our drivers in for a chat now. First off, race winner Craig Edwards, and an incredible drive there to P1, Craig. It was made a little bit easier by the internet issues for Eskandari and Potter, but you still had to really be on your toes today.
I sure did. Hello, Reese. Yes, it was a tricky race. I actually thought Kieran had successfully done that undercut when he dropped off the server. And I had one lap where I was also teetering on the edge of dropping out. So I think the internet in general was maybe a bit yucky tonight. But yes, very happy with my drive. Thought the strategy that I had was good, getting the tyres later in the stint and trying to hang on. Yeah, and it paid off for me.
Certainly did. With the troubles for Tom McGuinness, there's potential for you to have gotten into the championship top 13 and get the automatic entry to the Australian Open Wheel Nationals. Just goes to show that every single round of this season counts for something. Obviously, the final calculations still have yet to be done, but you're just outside the bubble on the way into this round. Maybe you've done just enough to get it here.
Well, yeah, a win can never hurt, and yeah, it's been a pretty dour season for me, so yeah, this is a great shot in the arm.
Certainly is, and I suppose looking forward to next season now when Super Formula Lights comes back around again. A great way to cap off your season. A huge thanks for joining us, Craig. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just a big thank you to my friends at Fusion Sim Racing, including yourself, Reese.
And very much thanks to you too, Craig. It's been a while. We'll be on track together at some point soon, I'm sure. Craig Edwards, winner of the final round here, and a fantastic drive it was. Now we're going to bring in Anthony Bate, who managed to get 5th place, and with the problems that were suffered by Tom McInnes, looks like, Anthony, you've done enough to secure the Silver Class title into the final round.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out right now. It's a bit complicated because I think it might be tied on points for both him and I. So yeah, I don't really know.
Well, we'll wait for the final standings at the end of the broadcast to really confirm that, and I'm sure Race Control have a few things to work through as well with that regard. But regardless, a consistent drive for you. You qualified well in the top 10 and ended up putting down some great laps to 5th place. You know, no matter how the championship works out, I think that's a drive to be proud of.
Yeah, I was very happy with that. Honestly, I just wanted to keep it clean and just stay out of trouble, and I was a little bit stressed at the start of the race. Everyone was kind of pulling away from me. I was being a bit too cautious. You know, the off tracks would be deadly here. So the last thing I wanted to do was get a pen for something silly. So I was just trying to keep my head down, and then a lot of stuff happened. Thomas got taken out. Various other issues happened, and yeah, a few people disconnected and stuff. So, but yeah, I had to hold off Saragi, and kudos to the man. He's a fast driver, and I didn't know if I could hold him. Just managed to do it at the end.
Certainly did. Well, the floor is yours, Anthony. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go, mate?
I do want to thank my teammates, but it does seem a little bit not appropriate considering one of them took Thomas out by accident. So Regardless, I want to thank Proline for giving me the opportunity to race here, and I do want to thank Mig for always being there for me and pushing me to go for it, even though I thought it was done after last race.
Fantastic stuff, Anthony. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be seeing you next season, I'm sure.
Thanks, guys.
Anthony Bate there from our back of the napkin calculations, should be the silver class champion, but there might be a couple of things to say about that besides. We'll bring Tom McInnes in for a very quick chat just to round things off here. Tom, it must have been heartbreaking seeing Mr. Searle going off track in front of you there. From that point, it was just damage limitation from there.
Yeah, I think Donahue's just confirmed I've got the silver win, so I just did enough. I was just trying to keep it clean, essentially. Yeah, I think I won on by 0.09 of a position.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's pretty insane. A tough final round. It always was going to be a tough final round at a track this difficult. The slipstream strong at all times, but yeah, that outbreaking into turn one is certainly something to think about. Yeah, challenging circuit to round off the season here, but you must be happy with your overall performance.
Yeah, I mean, I had the pace at this track, so at the end of the day, I knew I could put my head down. Fourth in quali was the first time all season I basically put a quali together. So yeah, I was happy with that. But yeah, be your own brothers sometimes. That just make it a bit harder for you.
Yeah, too right. Well, congratulations, Tom, if it does end up working in your favor, and I'm sure next season will bring yet more success. We'll be seeing you then.
So thank you very much.
Tom McInnes there, potentially the silver class champion out of this. One thing that can be confirmed is that Kieran Potter has the gold class championship, but probably not the way you wanted to take it, Kieran. Both you and Sebastian having internet issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny. Like, got bailed out a little bit there by Seb having issues early in the race, but I mean, not the way you want to win it, but I suppose can't complain too much. But it's funny because like it wasn't even lagging or anything. I was there. And then it just dropped out. No warning or anything. So, a bit lucky though.
Yeah, it does happen like that sometimes. I've certainly been on the receiving end of that quite a few times. But yeah, honestly, the season from you, particularly in the opening rounds, you put yourself in contention for that championship quite early on. I think the chaos of those opening rounds really played a part. You know, keeping a cool head in the midst of everyone running around, heads on fire around you, was probably playing a huge role in that.
Yeah, it was good just to have a clean run almost every week, apart from obviously opening round with some hardware issues. But yeah, I think if you're at the front pace-wise and just keep it clean, it just shows that, you know, anything's possible, even if you may not be the quickest car on track every week.
Yeah, absolutely. But in many cases, you were the quickest car on track for all of the weeks that it really counted, Kieran. So big congratulations from all of us here in the commentary booth. And yeah, certainly you'll be coming into the next season with a title to defend. It's been a different champion every single season for this Super Formula Light series. We'll see what your campaign is like to become the first two-timer.
Thanks, guys.
Kieran Potter there, an absolutely stellar drive throughout the season to get the Gold Class Championship in the end. And it looks like that's going to be everyone we have time for here to have a chat to at the end of this final round of the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship presented by Everything Simulated. Those are your final championship standings there, at least provisionally from our SDK calculations. Kieran Potter keeping it from Sebastian Eskandari. Davison and Rihanna remain in the championship top four. Ryan Bell, though, with his fantastic drive, gaining 2 spots in the final round there over Brodie McConkey and Tom Donohue. McConkey not here today, and Donohue not taking it to the start. But there is Tom McInnes there, 7 points ahead of Anthony Bate. So we were thinking about it, John, Anthony Bate potentially taking it, but it looks like McInnes did just enough to hold on to it.
Yes, 7-point difference at the end of an 8-season championship. I did say during the broadcast what a competitive field this is right the way through, and it's been that way right down to the end. And McInnes right at the death there. points to get himself 12th ahead of Anthony Bate. It's quite the turnaround, and it's been quite the season for both drivers. McKinn's a very worthy winner, it has to be said, in the silvers, as well as of course Potter in the gold. So yeah, they kept it close right down to the end, but McKinn's by 7 points, and of course Bate sneaking himself into the top 13 ahead of Jack Monroe. So 2 silvers finishing in the top 15. That is no mean feat in itself. Never mind winning the championship, the 2 Proline drivers with a good overall finish in the championship as well. So I'd say the team on the whole going to be pretty happy with that, winning both classes and winning both drivers' championship. Might have just lost out on the team championship, but certainly crowned 3 of the top 6 spots in the classes. That's not too bad a showing for them.
Certainly not. Proline has had a fantastic season, and they'll be hoping to get that momentum going for the next season of FDL SFL. But before that, we have the Australian Open Wheel Nationals to think about. Remember, the top 13 in the championship get automatic entry to the Australian Open Wheel Nationals, which will be coming up very soon. So both McKinns and Bate will end up joining Edwards, Mark Hilly, Ryan Borg, Alex Stevens, Tom Donohue, Brodie McConkey, Ryan Bell, Jackson Rihanna, Danny Davison, Sebastian Eskandari, and Kieran Potter, our reverse top 13 in the championship there. Goodness me, what a season it has been, and we cannot wait for the next one to come around. Also potential for the next Formula Ford recruitment series coming around pretty soon. We'll be waiting for more news on that from FDL in the weeks to come. But for now, it's time for a short season break. We also have the FDL Formula Open coming up very shortly indeed. St. Petersburg Street Circuit is being added to iRacing in the new season build, and we're going to be having the Formula Open take place there in the Dallara IR18 IndyCar. I'm sorely tempted to have a drive of that myself, but if not, maybe I'll be in the commentary box for it. We'll have to wait and see on that. Regardless, a big thanks to everybody for tuning in over the course of the season here on TrackSpotTV. If you are just here for the final round, welcome. We do have more to come. If you've been here for the whole season, we really appreciate you being on the ride along here with us. A big thanks to Ewan O'Leary as well, who had the lead commentary duties for the majority of this season, to John behind the scenes as well, producing every single broadcast this season, just about. So really appreciate all of the efforts from everybody behind the scenes here at TrackSpot, as well as at FDL. Tom Donohue running a tight ship in this championship for sure. I'm Reese Gardner, John Wright alongside me in the commentary box for this final round of the Gripline Super Formula Lights Championship presented by Everything Simulated. Kieran Potter and Tom McGinns are your champions in the gold and silver classes respectively. Now it's up to them to defend it when next season rolls around. We'll see you next time.